Guys, the fight night that we've all been waiting for, arguably the fight of the year, is finally here. Brandon Royval versus Tatsuro Taira, okay? So, let's get into this. I'm going to give you guys my picks. We're going to go over the fights, and we're just going to start from the beginning, man. We're going to keep this, raw and unfiltered, as per usual, when it comes to the fight night. So, for starters, we got, the banger matchup, Brandon Royval, Tatsuro Taira, couple of the pipsqueaks. Man, I'm going to go with my boy Tatsuro Taira, okay? Because, listen, first of all, this guy's undefeated. When have I ever picked against an undefeated guy? I can't remember the last time I've ever done that. And, listen, Tatsuro Taira, in its own, he's a bit of a beast, okay? He is obviously Japan's only hope, their last hope, their only hope, whatever you want to say. This guy is he's a bit of a different beast, okay? He is, he's really got the, he's got Japan on his shoulders. He's carrying Japan right now. And you got Brandon Royval, who, listen, Brandon Royval, he's been at the highs, and he, it's just, he hasn't made it to that championship level yet, right? He's made it to the fights, but he just hasn't made it past that. He hasn't been able to get that belt. And I just don't value his grappling, to be honest. I just don't value this guy's grappling. I think that Tatsuro Taira, on the other hand, he's a fantastic grappler. This guy could submit anyone. You put this guy in there with John Jones, man, I mean, it's a close fight. People would say it's not. It's a close fight. I'd probably pick Tatsuro Taira on that one. I know the casuals would probably lean Jones, but listen, Taira, he has great grappling. We also saw that he has some crafty Japanese techniques, I'm assuming, implemented from his favorite anime, where he grabbed, what's the motherfucker's name? Yo, I can't remember the, Alex Perez. Sorry guys, I forgot Alex Perez's name for a second. He grabbed his back and he freaking twisted him and tore his knee apart. So that's a pretty crafty technique. I'm just gonna pick him by a rear naked choke. I'm thinking like round 3 or something. He'll get the back. He'll get Royval's back. I think this whole time though, maybe the striking. Well, the striking, I'll say this. Royval is probably gonna, he's gonna be tearing it up in the striking. But the thing that I worry about most is Royval isn't the best when it comes to, defending, just grappling in general. He's alright. He's alright. Don't get me wrong. Like, Pantoja, he kind of got ragdolled against Pantoja. That's the thing. And I honestly think Taira has really, really good grappling. So I'm not going to pick against fucking, Taira, especially when, he's undefeated. That's all I honestly have to say. And speaking of, if you want to look into the externalities, guys, Tatsuro Taira, his whole run to the belt so far has been, these guys who are a little bit like Latino, right? We got the Latinos here, Brandon Royval. It's another Latino. He's going to take him out, bro. He's going to, he has been sentenced to the UFC as the Latino killer. I don't know why, but that's kind of what they've been doing. So, he's going to continue the path, I'm pretty sure here. Because, even though Royval is American, right? He's American. He's probably, he's got some ancestry there. So I think, Taira's going to be he's going to be too quick. He's going to be too fast. He's, hungry. He's Japan's hungriest warrior. How old is he? Probably like 24 or something. He's a young guy. So I think he's just, he's going to be too quick. And a guy like Royval, sure, he's cool. Sure, he has a funny personality or whatever. But, personality can only bring you so far, guys. It's a Tatsuro Taira era. And also, Taira has a good personality. He's a funny guy. But we're in the Tatsuro Taira era. This guy's a future champ. He is officially my new flyweight that I'm going to be backing. Hopefully he doesn't lose. But listen, it's going to be an easy sub. It's going to be a big sub. This guy works at Subway. He's handing out subs. Okay, let's go. Brad Tavares versus Young Park. This one, we already started to get to the good matchups, it looks like. These are some good matchups here. But listen, Young Park, I'm going to pick him. I wrote down decision in my notes because I did actually do some research for this. I thought, why not try, try my best. Get a good prediction going here. Last week we had a good prediction, right? But that's because, those are fights that I'm familiar with. This is like, if these are the fights that, the real hardcores will call you out on if you don't get this right. But I'm picking Young Park. I picked him by decision originally, but I want to change my pick. Actually, no, fuck it. We're gonna pick him by decision. I was gonna say KO. It could be a KO. I'll just stick with my, decision. Brad Tavares, Gregory Rodriguez was dominating this guy, and I actually am pretty high on Gregory Rodriguez. I like him. And I thought, I think Gregory Rodriguez is a bit of a beast. He's a bit of a tank. So that's no shame in losing to RoboCop, which also I noticed a lot of these guys have faced RoboCop, like Jung Young Park, obviously. But we have all over this card, it's for some reason, like the common opponent for everybody is fucking RoboCop. I have no clue why. I guess they're just sentencing his victims to, fight on this card or whatever. But listen, I'm picking Jung Young Park. Brad Tavares, he's a bit chinny. He's he's a bit of a quitter. So I could see him just getting KO'd. But I'm going to pick him by, Jung Young Park decision. I'm going to pick Jung Young Park by decision. Yeah, there's not much to it. Who cares at the end of the day? Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. Bro, this is Grant Dawson. I'm picking Grant Dawson. We all know that this guy could be Islam Makhachev any given day. You put this guy in there with Islam. Listen, I know you're gonna say, well, Bobby Green beat this guy. Bobby Green knocked him out. Bobby Green knocked him out, but you know who knocked out Islam? Adriano Martins, okay? And I'm sorry, but listen, losing to Bobby Green ain't as bad as losing to Adriano Martins. So I think, Grant Dawson, he might have had that little hiccup or whatever where he got knocked out by Bobby Green. Or sorry, King Green, we do want to respect him. King Green, absolute king, knocked him out on some Kang shit. But listen, Grant Dawson, I think he's just gonna go on a tear from here on. He's got that Dagestani level wrestling, but he's Americanized it, And a guy like Rafa Garcia, what I noticed is Rafa Garcia only has 1 KO out of his 36 fights, right? This guy's 36 fights, but he only has 1 KO, and I think that they're trying to give Grant Dawson these guys who are a little bit pillow-handed just to avoid the possibility of him losing. So, fair play or whatever. Try to get him up the rankings. But listen, Rafa Garcia, he's a bit of a layup. I'm not going to lie. We got the 6% KO odds. He's not going to submit. I'll tell you this right now. Despite the fact that this guy's a little nerdy jiu-jitsu guy, maybe. I'm not going to pick him by submission. I'm not going to pick him by anything. I think Grant Dawson's going to be able to control him on the ground. He's going to be able to toss him around. And, they'll probably pick him up, do a little spin with him. Like a pizza dough. He'll spin him in the air, toss him in the air, spin him, grab him back. And then, put him on the canvas, lay him down, maybe ground and pound him. Probably not, though. It'll just be a little smudge decision. Actually, if it is a decision, it's going to be kind of embarrassing. But listen, I think he's going to go to a decision. I think he's going to go to a 30-27 decision. This is the fight that I've been looking for. Corey McKenna versus Julia Polastri. This is the one that I did do a 3-hour-long breakdown on my WMMA Patreon exclusive channel. But listen, for the purposes of this channel, I know we're a little bit of casuals over here. I'm actually going to be flipping a coin. Let's see. Heads it is. So I'm going with Julia Polastri. The coin doesn't lie. So far, last week at least, and the weeks before, I've noticed that every time I flip a coin, I don't think I've got the prediction wrong. So yeah, so we're just gonna follow the coin, because listen, the coin hasn't lied to us so far. We've got all our picks right based on following my professional coin flipping guide. But listen, I know McKenna, she's a bit of a, she looks kind of ruthless almost. She looks like a cold-hearted killer. Future grandmother in the making, by the way. She does look like a sweet little grandma who's gonna bake some cookies. But you look at Julia Polastri, this girl, she's not playing. I guarantee you, yeah, she's Brazilian. So she's probably out there. I've heard rumors she's the next Charles Oliveira. She's training out there with Charles, and she's KOing Charles Oliveira. That's what I've heard. You don't have to trust me on that. That's just what I've heard. And I think this fight's gonna be, the fight that puts her on the map. It's gonna make her a big star, and I'm gonna pick her by unanimous split decision. Okay, so every decision in WMMA is a split decision, but it'll be unanimous towards her. So what I mean by that is, the fans will unanimously agree, despite the fact that it's going to be a split decision. But let's move on to, we got Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono. Oh, right, Alex Morono. Whew, this is another good matchup. Listen, Alex Morono, he fought Nico Price last, right? That was a great fight. It was on the main card as well, which I was, very excited about. That was on, like, 3-0. 3-0, who cares? 3-0, who cares? It was on 3-0, whatever. Daniel Rodriguez, I'm going to pick him because, he did have he had an alright, a decent, pretty good performance. against Kelvin Gastelum, and that was in like Abu Dhabi or, you know, Saudi Arabia or something. And he actually did, he came in, I think, didn't he was training for like welterweight or something, and then, you know, badass Kelvin Gastelum had it shifted to middleweight because he couldn't, you know, put down the tacos for a bit. And, you know, so they fought at middleweight, and he still looked good. So I'm going to pick him. I think that he's, you know, he's probably more disciplined than Alex Morono. He's probably has more to work for than a guy like Alex Morono. And, yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a clean sweep. Clean sweep this week. But listen, Alex Morono, definitely put him in your parlays. I'd pick him by decision. Every fight on this is going to be a decision. Just pick him by decision. He's a little underdog, you know, or a little favorite, actually. Here we go. Abdul Razak Alhassan. Abdul Razak Alhassan. Yeah, I'm not picking him. I know he looked great against, you know, Cody Brundage or whatever, and he hit him in the back of the head a bit, and I got pissed at that, because, you know, Cody Brundage, he acted his way to a no contest again. But we got Josh Fremd. This is the fight you gotta put on your map. This is the fight that, you know, if you don't know, now you know. Right? If you don't know, now you know. Josh Fremd versus Abdul. This is a great fight. But I'm gonna pick Josh Fremd I don't remember. I did some research on this. I don't remember when I'm picking him by. Maybe it was KO. We'll just say it was KO. Even though it probably wasn't. It was probably decision. But listen, Abdul, he's getting up there in age, right? I noticed this guy's 39 years old. And there were some other reasons why I'm picking against him. I just can't remember them right now. But listen, Josh Fremd, this guy, you know, he's hungry. He's just entering his prime. He's like 30 years old or something. Man, and I've heard stories of Josh Fremd. This guy, he's training like a monster now, you know, because he's had some losses in the past that weren't so great. But ever since then, this guy's been on a tear, you know. I'm sure he gave birth to a baby. And, you know, he's fighting for his family now. He has a different purpose for fighting, because before he would fight to, you know, just get a couple bucks and gamble it away. Now he's fighting for his family. He's fighting for his wife. He's fighting for his daughter. And he's got a whole new purpose. Whereas Abdul Razak Alhassan, he's fighting to just retire. Okay, he's ready to retire. 39 years old. This guy's saying, you know, I got maybe 2 more fights in me. Maybe I'll go try and get a run for the belt. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Josh Fremd. He's the underdog as well. It's a great underdog pick here. Josh Fremd, let's pull this off. And let's move on to the prelims. We're going to glance through these because, you know, these are too good to just dive into deeply. These all warrant a video of their own. But let's listen. Jared Gooden. I'm picking Jared Gooden against Chidi Njokuani. I'm picking him against Chidi Njokuani. And I don't really remember why. A professional, you know, I did write down an expert analysis on this. Let's see what I wrote. Jared Gooden, younger, lighter man skill. So I'm assuming, you know, he's the lighter guy. He probably fought at a lighter weight class or something. Maybe that's false. But, you know, he also looks cool. Chidi, I'm assuming he's probably 63 years old. This guy, you know, he's probably had a couple losses recently. I can't really remember. He might have had a split decision win or something. Jared Gooden, you know, this guy's somebody who I keep my eyes out on. Jared Gooden, he's a bit like Kamaru Usman almost, right? This guy's like a future Kamaru Usman. Just because he looks a bit like him, okay? He just looks a bit like him. He looks a bit like him. But, you know, what do I mean by that? I mean, he's potentially the next champ, okay? So, I'd keep my eyes out on him. And Jared Gooden, you know, this guy, I think he's going to get a fucking knockout or something. You know, he'll knock this guy out. And, yeah, CJ Vergara. I'm actually picking CJ Vergara because, you know, Ramazan Timurov, you know, this guy, he's a great fighter. I've heard lots of talk about this guy. I think he's Uzbekistani, if I remember right. Let me check. Oh, they don't have a picture, or they don't have anything on this guy, so he's technically just fighting nobody. But listen, if you go check the Topology, I'm pretty sure this guy's an Uzbekistani. And he's got a lot of knockouts, right? So, you know, we're expecting maybe a knockout. I'm sure if I click on the win-buy odds, Alright, so we don't got anything. So this guy has a 0% chance to win according to the UFC. But, you know, CJ Vergara, in reality, he is the underdog in this. And, you know, they're hyping up Ramazanov. He's a big KO guy, I guess. But listen, CJ Vergara's never been KO'd before. So I'm going to pick him. He'll probably, you know, he'll show that there's a difference between the UFC skill and the you know, the whatever promotion this kid's fighting in skill, because obviously the UFC is such high level, especially when you're in, you know, the flyweight division at the very bottom of the flyweight division, and you're losing to a beast like Ode Osborne. But I'm still gonna pick CJ Vergara. Obviously, he's just too good because he's UFC, man, and you can't go, you can't just walk into the UFC and start winning against guys like CJ Vergara. So, you know, CJ Vergara, he'll win by freaking fraud check, whatever. Take him by whatever. He'll just win. He'll just win the fight. Jonathan Pierce, Pat Sabatini. I think I was picking Pierce by KO. If I was right, I think I picked Pierce by KO. That looks about right. Yeah, he'll get a KO. He is okay, he's a little bit of a favorite, but that's for a reason. Look, Pat Sabatini, this guy is obsessed with grappling. Okay, this guy's he's a grappler, glory grappler, finesse grappler. I don't know. He's just Mr. Grappler himself. Because, you know, you go to Tapology, you see this guy signing up for every fucking grappling tournament that he can find. Okay, this guy's he's fighting in the local village grappling tournament. He's fighting in some high school grappling tournaments. This guy's just obsessed with, you know, grappling. And, you know, he needs to focus on more of mixing the martial arts. Because, you know, every fight starts off on the feet. And a guy like Jonathan Pierce, this guy has a couple knockouts. You know, he's a big knockout guy. And, you know, Diego Lopez knocked out Pat Sabatini. And, you know, that's aged pretty well. But listen, Jonathan Pierce, who's to say Jonathan Pierce is not the next Diego Lopez? And I think this is where it starts. Jonathan Pierce, he's going to KO this guy, Pat Sabatini, in first or second round. He's going to start going on a tear. And it's as simple as that. Sorry, Pat Sabatini is not going to submit Jonathan Pierce. He's not going to, you know, he's not going to do anything to him. He's a bit of a fucking rag, you know, Ilia Topuria style. He's a bit of a rag. He's just going to get tossed around, knocked out. I'm not picking Pat Sabatini. This is actually a pretty confident pick in Jonathan Pierce. Yeah, we're just going to pick him. Because this guy, Pat Sabatini, hasn't fought since the Diego Lopez loss. And he's fucking literally obsessed with taking every grappling match he can get, bro. You don't need to improve your grappling anymore, bro. We already know you're Mr. Grappler, okay? So listen, I'm going to pick Jonathan Pierce, okay? Themba Gorimbo. Obviously, we're going with the Themba Gorimbo pick. I know, you know, Nico Price is here. Nico Price is one of those guys who, he could be champ on any given day. You put this guy in there against, you know, anybody. I think this guy could be the 3-division champ. He could fight Islam. He could fight Bilal Muhammad. He could fight Dricus. And he could be champ. But, you know, the UFC, unfortunately, they operate in, you know, this format where you got to fight your way up. Which is kind of stupid because they don't consider that a guy like Nico Price could just go in there and, you know, beat up all 3 of those champs. But it's whatever. Unfortunately, he is running into another championship-level fighter in Themba Gorimbo. And, man, I'm going to pick Themba Gorimbo by a vicious flying knee into a spinning back fist, into a fucking heel kick, into a, what is he going to end it off with? Spinning elbow, KO, up against the fence. Nico Price. This is the end of Nico Price. I know he's a fan favorite. Dude, what is wrong with my camera? I'm not adjusting this, okay? If my camera wants to do this, where it wants to go all white and make me all fucking white, dude, look at this. It's absurd. It's absurd, bro. It's absurd. Who cares? Who cares? If you're at the end of the video, if you're still watching this, props to you, man. But listen, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with my camera, bro. This shit's pissing me off. But listen, Themba Gorimbo, the Zimbabwe warrior himself, I'm picking him. He looked fantastic in his last fight, despite the fact that it was a bit of a, you know, I think he got booed, didn't he? He was getting booed, maybe, or it wasn't the Apex, so he probably wasn't. But listen, he was a bit boring in his last fight, sadly, because I think he went to the grappling. But this fight's gonna be different. He's just gonna knock out Nico Price. All right, great. Chris Barnett versus Junior Tafa. Damn, why the fuck are these not on the main? Why is Themba Gorimbo not on the main card? I don't understand what this distribution is of these fights. But obviously, I'm going to be picking Junior Tafa. You know, Junior Tafa. Actually, no, not obviously. Not obviously. It's just Chris Barnett's been on such a big layoff, bro. He hasn't fought in like 2.5 years or something. So I can't pick him, bro. I just can't pick a guy who, you know, his only way to win is just, you know, landing that big KO. And, you know, Junior Tafa's the same, though. That's the thing. That's why it's kind of 50-50, honestly. But I'm not picking Chris Barnett because he hasn't fucking fought in 2 years, man. So, you know, despite the fact that this guy was born in Spain. So I could see him winning just because he does have that Spanish spirit that Ilia Topuria has implemented into everybody. Everybody who's a Spanish fighter now, the UFC has scripted them to win their fights so that they can fight in Spain next. But you listen, we could see Chris Barnett getting a big KO and then fighting in Spain underneath the Ilia Topuria versus Islam card that's guaranteed to happen next year, guaranteed after Ilia Topuria knocks out Max Holloway. But listen, I'm sorry, Chris Barnett. You could win, but I'm gonna pick Junior Taffa by second round KO. Dude, this is the longest card in UFC history, bro. We're taking 16 minutes on the prelims. Dan Argueta versus Cody Haddon. I'm picking Cody Haddon. Let me skim through this. Dan Argueta looks really cool. He looks really cool. He has a big head and all that. I'm picking Cody Haddon, though, because I think this guy only has one loss, and it's to Steve Erceg. And, you know, we all know Steve Erceg is a beast. Hello? Like, what the fuck is this camera doing, bro? All right, so we all know that, you know, Cody Haddon, or Steve Erceg's a beast, and obviously Cody Haddon's only lost to Steve Erceg. So, man, I don't understand. I don't think Dan Argueta is going to be able to pull this off. What the f... 150... Alright, I don't know what's wrong with the UFC right now, but listen, also lighter man skill, I'm assuming. Cody Haddon has the lighter man skill. Bro, this camera's actually fucking pissing me off. Cody Haddon, he's going to get the win. Clayton Carpenter, Lucas Rocha. I'm picking Clayton Carpenter. He is... This guy looks a bit like young Sheldon. He looks cool. He's fantastic in the cage. Future champ, obviously 7-0. He stands up for himself. You know, this guy... Dude, I already know Lucas Tracy pointed this out in his video, but what the fuck is the UFC doing? 0 feet tall, 0 inches. He's fighting a fucking midget, bro. That's who he's fighting, apparently. And I don't understand what they're doing with these shorts. These are literally... Is Adam Sandler in charge of the fucking dressing room, bro? Why is everyone wearing these basketball shorts that are fucking 6 feet long? It's ridiculous, man. They need to get themselves together at the UFC, man. Look at this. Same thing here, bro. Okay, awesome. Never mind. But listen, Dana White's Contender Series, they need to sort their shit out. But I'm sure... Okay, and now it's not going to let me click on the fight. I'm sure Lucas Rochester, I'm sure he's a beast. But listen... He probably just fucking... I bet you, I'm not even going to look it up. I bet you this guy was one of those fucking guys who... He was a big underdog in his Dana White Contender Series fights. And, you know, he was fighting some new hyped up prospect. And he ended up pulling off some KO or some shit or a submission. And Dana was like, how can you not give this guy a contract? You were a big underdog coming into this fight tonight. And you pulled it off. You're great. You're going to be welcome to the UFC, kid. It's probably one of those situations where he was a big underdog and, you know, he ended up winning the fight. Because he looks like a bot, bro. I mean, look at this guy. No abs, no anything. Just, bro, you're not winning your fight against a beast like Clayton Carpenter, who, this guy's a fucking, you know, he's a future champ in my eyes. But, listen, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bit of a cool little fight night predictions. You know, everyone loves a little fight night prediction every once in a while. I'm really excited for this one. Can't wait. And, yeah, let's get the anime arc started for Tatsuro Taira. He's obviously going to go in there and win. He'll probably fucking injure Brandon Royval for all I know. For all I know, he will injure Brandon Royval in the third round. Fucking, tear his head off with some sort of submission. I wouldn't be surprised, you know. Man, Tatsuro Taira, he finds a way to win. Definitely one of my favorite flyweights. Let's get the win today, or tonight, or whatever the fuck I'm saying, you know, Saturday night. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, subscribe, comment, and share with everybody in your family, you know, do all that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.